If you ask me what is the fastest way, the most direct way to awaken, I would say it would be learning how to surrender to the universe or to awakening, depending on how you look at it. So it sounds lovely to say, I will just surrender to the universe, I will just surrender myself to this path, and it is the fastest way to awaken, no doubt. But to actually do it can be very difficult. And that is because of the traumas that we've experienced, the trust issues that we have because of what happened to us in the past or what's happening to us now, or how people have betrayed us, and all kinds of things that have happened. It stops us from being able to surrender in this way. It's where it's heading for everybody on the path. We're all leading to this the first sort of big shift that we have regarding surrender is that we completely surrender to this path to awakening, to the universe. We let it take over, we let life take over. And that is a very big shift that happens pretty far along on the process. Incrementally, we start to surrender bit by bit and start to trust a little bit here and there until eventually we get to that point where I'm all in, this is all I want, this is my priority, I will die for this, and I will give up anything for this. Please guide me. And in that is such a big shift. It's not enlightenment, but it is the thing that will get you there. That's how important it is. So if you could fast forward to that shift, that pretty much guarantees liberation is close, years, couple of years away, perhaps under. And that is because that's how significant surrendering to this process is for our progress. It is crucial and it is something that will happen eventually. It's just a matter of how long it takes us to learn to trust in the universe. It's helpful to know that the universe, life, awakening, however we want to put it, is actually us. That there's no outside force trying to destroy our lives, to try to blow things up, to try to make you suffer. That is not what is happening here. It may feel that way sometimes. It may feel because things drop away that we're attached to, and we can feel upset about that, which is understandable. We find out later that that's exactly what needed to happen, that it's actually a good thing for everybody involved. It's just sometimes hard when we're going through it to see that. But again, if we have that trust, if we have that trust that life, that the universe will guide us through this awakening process and that it is trustworthy, that's the thing we can trust. Other people and their conditioning and their wounded ways can be difficult to trust. People are people and they're troubled. So, but what you can trust is awakening. You can, and that will be revealed to you. But the sooner you get on board with that, the faster awakening will be completed. The sooner you'll get to liberation. That's how important this is, but also one of the hardest things to do. So, to start to trust it, try to notice times where you've followed that, or things have happened out of your control. Life stuff has happened and it has served you. Things have worked out better for you in the long run. Things have helped you with awakening, help you to let go of identity. So it might have been painful while it was happening, but afterwards you got to see why and then look for that evidence to see that's how it worked out. I can trust that. It's not trying to destroy my life. It's trying to get me in alignment with truth and get me to learn that I can trust this process. So look for the evidence to help you to feel better, to help you to see that it is trustworthy. I can tell you that it is, but at the end of the day, you've got to see for yourself, learn for yourself, and it will be shown to you. You can ask, reveal yourself. I want to trust. Reveal yourself as trustworthy so that I can trust, so that I can surrender fully into this. And then that's where the magic really starts to happen. That's where things will go very quickly and be over before you know it, once we fully surrender to this process. And we may think that we have surrendered earlier on, but we again look at the evidence and we see where do we have our focus? Are we focused on our job, our kids, our parents, our lover? Where is most of our attention going? Where do we spend our time? That's the evidence of what your priority is. And we're not making it right or wrong. We're just looking at the facts. If your attention is on awakening all day long, if that's what you dream about, if that's the practices you're into, you're doing practices all day, so you can still live a normal life, but your focus is, your lens is awakening. The more that has taken over, the closer you are to surrendering completely to this process and allowing the universe to sort the rest of it out. And it will do it in a way that is so much more streamlined and smoother than anything the separate self could come up with. It might be bizarre. You might have never have thought of those options before. How things end up post awakening might be totally different to what you expected. That can very much happen, but it's always you're better off. It's always, I wish I had have surrendered sooner. Why was I hanging on so much? Why was I fighting this so much? Of course, the universe has my back here. It's just me trying to support this process. Why do I need to fight that? Why do I need to fight that? Why can't I try to find a way within myself to get on board with that? And what that looks like is when it's communicating with us that something needs to change, whatever that is. You need a different teacher, you need a different therapist, you need to let go of a relationship, you need to stop your job, you need to go part-time, you need to go on a sabbatical, you need to go on that retreat, whatever it is. You need to start meditating, you need to do self-inquiry. Whatever it's communicating to us, we listen. We're open to seeing it, to hearing it, even if it's something painful, like you shouldn't be with that person anymore. That's not helpful for awakening. And then you take action steps. Okay, this is over. I know it's painful. I know I'm attached, but this is going to help awakening. And I trust that this will be better for both of us, for everybody that's concerned, for the whole family that's involved in this. And it might sound like I'm being selfish. I understand, but if we trust what the universe is telling us, what it's showing us to do, really magical things can happen, not just for our own awakening, but for our little collective around us. It's a flow-on effect when we follow truth, when we follow what is being asked of us, and instead of fighting it like we would normally do, then it really does, everything falls into place for everybody. It's the best for everybody. Truth always wins in the end, but how much we fight it before we learn to surrender to the universe is going to vary from person to person. Usually, we're going to fight it quite a lot. I know I do. But if you want my quickest, easiest tip for fast progression with awakening, it is find a way to completely surrender to the universe, to awakening, to this process. Let yourself go. Let yourself dissolve. Let it take over. Let it take you down the river towards liberation.